Aloha and shalom, saints of the Most High God. This is your prophetic evangelist, Apostle Asia Lavon, with the Rainbow Covenant. I wanted to come on real quick because I wanted to just say a little prayer for all of those that are in a waiting for vindication. Saints, right now, we are watching public vindication and public exposure just strike the earth like none other. I don't think I've ever in my life seen so much stuff that was being hidden, being brought to light. On today, I got email or link rather that I had saw on the 7th of March 2024, but it was sent to me again today. And the reason why I'm publishing this is, one, today's my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Shay. Mommy, love you. I sent you a video and a message, and I got you some gifts. Mwah. But her name is very important as far as this prophecy. The link that was sent to me was my own video, and it was from a prophecy that was given 2 days shy of a year prior to the broadcasting of this public, what I'm going to call vindication. I saw a dream in 2023, I believe, like I said, it was March 7th. And I had saw like an agency, infighting in an agency, and I saw, the agency like falling apart. I saw members of the agency and entities that were working with the agency. They were very much trying to redact statements, and there was a legal setting. There was an attorney that was talking to people in like a small conference room type of courtroom, and the attorney had evidence against these three women or people on the other side of this hearing. I guess the ones that would be the defendants. These attorneys, the attorney that I saw was questioning these people, and the attorney that was questioning them, they already had evidence that they were lying, and they were just asking questions to get them to continue to lie so that they would show the judge how much they are liars. You know what I mean? Like, not only did they lie before, but they're lying now, and brazenly, without conscience. And this attorney was furious. I'm going to put the link to that prophecy in the description of this post, because in order to understand this public vindication, you have to look at it. The reason why I remember this so much is because my daughter's name is Shay. But in the body of the dream, there was someone that was named Shay, and they were trying to alert the judge to pull away from this case. They were trying to redact things that they were saying, because there were legal proceedings and investigations that was going on that they, I guess, weren't aware was going on at the time. But the FBI, I found out today when I inquired of the Lord, what does this mean? What is this public vindication is saying something. I was seeing and hearing in my spirit, these agencies that are operating in dishonesty, that are grooming clients to tell lies and fabricate lies. They're destroying lives. They're putting men in prison that have not done the egregious things that they have fabricated, to remove fathers from their household and mothers from their household. The child welfare system. The father does not like that his children are being made orphans by mischief, by mischievous laws. You understand what I'm saying? The father is coming to deal with this. And I saw that FBI. This is more than just the natural FBI. This is heaven's FBI. This is heaven's investigators. This is Ezekiel's will is in these federal and state agencies, or more specifically, these state agencies that are using federal funding to do evil in the land. The Lord is coming after you. What the Lord showed me in that prophecy a year ago was like infighting in these organizations, that they were going the internal mechanisms, the necessary parts of their organizations functioning was going to fall apart. And it was so amazing because there was legals and legal things and lawyers and everything like that, and I didn't really understand what I was saying, but I just told the dream. Well, lo and behold, when you watch this dream, you're going to see how specific the Lord was. And then you're going to look and see what I saw happen in this agency. This is the exact agency that I saw this happening at. And here it is a year later. It headlines on the news that all, not one, not two, but all of the attorneys affiliated with this agency has quit for the exact reasons of the dream. They were giving the clients legal advice, and they are not attorneys. These agencies were grooming vulnerable families, men, women, and children, into speaking evil against their household. Women speaking evil against their spouse or their partner. Men speaking evil against their spouse or their partner. Coaxing children. And I saw this in a child on television. And children being groomed by social workers to speak and say things that did not occur, that caused their own father to get imprisoned for years, only for years later, as the children got older and came to themselves, for him to be released and be found, go before jury again and be found not guilty, having lost years and in relationship with these children. This is what's happening, and this is why the Lord is coming after these agencies. These agencies are damaging reputations. People cannot get housing. People cannot function in society because of the fabrications and the lies that have taken place against innocent people. This is not people that haven't done anything, that have actually done something. These are things that because they don't like it, this person, or because they may be used to, some of the more true cases that they just already come up into their minds and accepted in their minds that all of these cases need to be handled like this. It's like a template of evil that they're using, and they're destroying lives and reputations, and they're doing it without conscience. The Lord is coming to deal with it, and has. Now what you're going to find is, I saw heaven's FBI coming, and this is when I saw like everybody disbanding. In that dream that I had, I saw people going to the courthouse saying, "Redact, take my name out of it. Remove us from this. We're not affiliated with these people." Even informants, they got informants to lie, and the informants are going to tell this agency, this social worker, this attorney, this person told me to say that, and that's not what happened, but that's what they told me to do. And so now I can get housing, I can get insurance, I can get this, I can get that. They are helping them to scam the taxpayers. They're helping them to scam money from the federal government, and there's been no accountability and no oversight. And what's happening now, families are destroyed, children are being orphaned. The child welfare system is like, it's in total chaos and disarray. So now you're going to be seeing the FBI, these principalities, a higher principality is going to come. And so now you're going to see the Lord's hand get involved. So I'm praying for all of the families that have been victimized by agencies doing unscrupulous works and using their power as an agency. And some of them, some of them are working with the courts. So they get money. The court gets money for working with them, and the agency gets money for working with them. But they're finding people and charging people simply because the agency said so, and there's no evidence. It's nothing to support what they're accusing these people of, but the courts is going along with it simply because it's this agency, and the agency is doing evil. They're grooming clients to cause problems and detriments on other people. And then another thing that I saw like I saw what looked like a mixed woman. Um, I don't know, like Mexican, kind of had that type of appearance, or a Latin appearance. I don't know who these people are, but it was a couple and they had children and they had some type of altercation or what have you. I saw an agency, and I feel like I'm here in Arizona. I saw an agency that that coaxed this woman to speak evil against her children's father. And at the time they were arguing, at the time they were in a heated, chaotic situation. But it was something where if they just needed some time to calm down. But they used this as an opportunity to completely get this man removed from the house. And what ended up happening was the couple ended up getting back together. But when they went to court, I guess their situation was dismissed, but it still damaged this man's reputation. He still had a case that went before. And the woman, I hear her saying, they told me to say that. She's saying this, but she's speaking in Spanish or whatever her language is. She's going back and forth with I guess the husband or her spouse, whoever the father is. She's crying because he's asking her, why did you do that? Why did you say that? And she's saying, the social worker told me to say it. The advocate told me to say that. I didn't write that. They did. This is what I'm hearing. This is what's going on, saints. So I want us to think about this, because there's going to be people that are going to be very Jezebel-like. And one thing that we know about Jezebel is Jezebel never repents. She rather die first. And there's a lot of these people that are going to seek to retaliate and cover themselves as opposed to try to fix what they've done. If they can even fix what they've done. But I literally saw federal investigators going into these courts and going into these affiliate agencies and going case by case. And they don't even realize they're doing it from God's authority. They think that they're doing this by just some random, go investigate this. No, but it is by the power of God, the true principality that's going to rule and take over all of this, because he is the highest judge. And he is going to be ordering an investigation from heaven. And if these people do not fix what they've done, they're already scrambling. This is sure to happen. If I am a prophetess of the living God and Jesus Christ came and rose, I'm telling you, they're going to go case and they're going to be asking these people all sides, did this person tell you to say this? Is this your language or their language? Did you sign this or did they? And they're going to get caught. They're going to get caught. The grooming that they're using, is going to be discovered that grooming is coming from them, not from the person. You understand? I saw children that were being given dolls, and the social workers is, what's this hole? What's that hole? And they were actually the ones making children say that their parent touched them, and this, that. The agency is being used to destroy the family, God's family household. And people have been in situations where they can't defend themselves. And I see again, there's children getting older and they're saying that never happened. That person made me say that. God is coming down to deal with this situation. He's already started. There's already angels on the scene. So please forgive me for saying he's coming down. Father is come down to deal with this situation, and you will continue to see this type of vindication publicly. So it may not be like an individual, but you're going to see on the news, you're going to see the person that did it, and you know that you're going to see them arrested. You're going to see them being investigated. You're going to see this agency is being brought down. This agency is being pulled before Congress. This agency is going before the federal board. This agency, you know what I'm saying? This is what's going to happen. A higher power is going to bring them into submission. And because the very people that they use to set people up so that they can get funding are going to be the very people that tell on them. And some of them have done, this is criminal. This is criminal. And some of them, the racketeering, because it's agencies and courts and it's going to be a form of racketeering, and they're going to be, judges are even going to come down. Now, last year when I gave this particular prophecy, I know that there's people that watch it and might have thought, oh, she is talking about this or she's talking about that. Well, I'm finding out that I was talking about this. If you questioning yourself, I was. But look, did God say it? You can't get that perfect. I literally saw an article that said an entire staff, all of the attorneys affiliated with an agency that is doing this, have quit for the exact reasons that was in the prophecy a year ago. And if that was that bullseye perfect with that descriptive, imagine if I'm telling you now, the FBI, the highest, and then Congress, they're going to be pulling these people and pulling cases. This is what's going to happen. They're not going to just pull one side. They're going to pull both sides, and they're going to want to see evidence, and they're going to want to see how the agency was involved. They're going to know who. They're going to look. They're going to fine tooth things, because Father said that this is a time for family restoration. And if these people are the ones that have thrown monkey wrenches in families being restored, they will be held accountable by heaven. This is witchcraft. This is sorcery. And this was an attack against God's kingdom. And Father's not going to have it any longer. Your time has expired, Satan. So I would like you to take a look, for those of you that still want to play with God, I want you to take a look at, for example, an agency would be like the district attorney's office. Look at what took place in Georgia with that particular district attorney that brought racketeering charges, fraud charges, election interference charges against President Trump, and tried to publicly humiliate him and ruin him. Look at what happened. Everything that she did to him came back at her. Everything. Tried to expose things that was personal about him and people that's affiliated with him. What happened to her? The exact same thing that she intended to do to someone else came back to her. And I don't have any issues whatsoever with the district attorney. I love her and President Donald Trump. I'm speaking from observing what's happening, and it's crystal clear. The grave that she dug for him, she was in that. The pit that she dug it, she was in it. And I remember her saying, "You have me on trial, but he's the one on trial." No, she was the one being questioned about her personal life and how truthful she is, and it was exposed about her committing adultery with a still married man, even to this day, and denying it. Then very much in a relationship, very much going against what she can. She campaigned when she sought that office, saying that she would never sleep with staff members. She went back on her word. Everything that she said, or the things that she was doing to someone else, this is what came back at her. And what I'm using this as an example because Mr. Trump wasn't there. She was there by herself, trying to defend herself. And she had a bunch of people on his behalf coming for her. This is what's going to happen to these people. They're going to be, and remember those of you that were defenseless, that were being accused because they were an agency of greater power than you, greater finances, because they used public federal funds to destroy your life. God has a problem that those individuals, whether you're a man or woman, those are called widows biblically. A widow is someone whose husband is gone or whose support is gone, and they're vulnerable. They will be destroyed if someone does not help them. The oppressed, You know what I mean? This is what happened, and Father has a real problem with those that oppress the oppressed. Even if he is the one that's causing them punishment, we don't have the right to add to their punishment. God has to deal with them. You understand what I'm saying? Another example that I've seen recently was Bishop T.D. Jakes. I witnessed a man supposedly that knows God expose things and say things about him without any evidence, and it was really none of his business, and completely destroyed or sought to destroy his reputation, his name, his church, and everyone affiliated with him. Sound familiar? Same thing. That the same spirit as the other example, right? Well, what happened? I literally watched that man have all of his illicit lovers of the same sex, which he was denying being in the alternative lifestyle, at least publicly. Watch them come forward and tell on him and seek to destroy his name and his ministry and his money and his family, humiliate him. You see what I'm saying? The pit that he dug using his platform to bring that detriment to other person, it hit him. This is what I'm trying to tell you, babies. These situations where people do things without conscience like this, to the point where you can't even defend yourself, is so egregious. Your family's looking at it, your friends are looking at it, you're losing friends, you're losing connections, all of this because someone just wanted to say something vicious. Do you know, when you're in ministry, the most vicious things that someone can make up to you is to call you a witch, a sorcerer, a child molester. So these are things that they, or gay, or something. These are things that they do to take you out really quick. And the fact of the matter is, the body of Christ is so backstabbing that they will believe stuff like that without evidence and run with it and leave you, and just all of the good that you've done that could attest to your character that they've seen walking with you, they will completely ignore all of that to jump onto something evil, an evil report that has no evidence, just an accusation. Right now, I've seen in my own life, I've seen drug addicts, people high as a kite, make up fabrications and stories, and people believe them. And then a sane person, I seen someone that had every symptom of a heroin or crack addict, and I watched an agency believe them, and then take those symptoms and say the other person drove them to do that. No evidence. And then the other person that's lying on the innocent person that the agency is helping the lying person to frame, that drug addict was able to get his car insurance paid, get housing for free, get food and welfare free, get Section 8 and all that. All they had to do was lie on an innocent person and help, and that agency helped to fabricate a story against that person. I saw that, and it brought me to tears. I could not believe that someone would listen to something like that. And I could not believe this story. So I know that these things are happening, and I know it to be true. And if this person that I'm seeing in my spirit, I'm here in Arizona, I'm praying for you and your family. God will vindicate you and your family, and I want you and everyone like you to be encouraged. Do not be afraid to tell the truth now, because one thing that we know about the truth is it will set you free. It'll set your heart free, and it'll set the person that you've hurt free, to know that you had the courage to fix what you've done. You listened to the serpent. But it's always time, as long as we have breath and a mind and the love for Jesus Christ and his people, to turn away from that evil. Anybody can make a mistake, but it's those that are truly wicked and hellbound that will know that they made a mistake and not give a damn about the people that they've hurt. That's what Jezebel does. Jezebel will rather die and burn in hell before she apologizes. And you can see that spirit operating in men and in women. And Jezebel operates without conscience. I would even say this spirit is worse than Jezebel. It's more like her daughter Athaliah, and she was 1,000 times worse and 1,000 times more heartless, 1,000 times more murderous than Jezebel. So saints, I pray for each and every last one of you. I pray that your vindication is sweet and peace hits you and your family like none other. I'm praying for each and every one of you. I know you men out there, you have been through the ringer, and I know you women, you have been through the ringer. Some of you women are in jail, and your children have been taken from you, and you've been screaming, I did not do this, and you truly didn't. There's agencies that are working to free innocent people, and funding that they should have are going to agencies to set people up. And the agencies, the truth tellers, are being deprived federal funding because these agencies are lying. They're lying for money, and they're partnering, racketeering with courts and other entities to destroy our society from within. Every problem is not jail worthy. We live in such a punk society nowadays where people do not understand that you can have a disagreement. Sometimes you might even raise your voice. That doesn't mean that you don't deserve your family anymore. That means you had it in discretion. Now, I'm not saying this should be habitual and this should be your life. That's abuse. But what I am saying is that if a man raised his voice at his wife, and that's not his character, but something happened, you don't know, you weren't there, but she was afraid, does that mean that because he raised his voice and she was afraid, that he should be removed from his family and not see his children anymore except with the social worker? Now, especially if the woman is calmed down 24 hours later and she no longer wants to do a TRO, but an advocate in the court or in one of these agencies is telling her to. I'm not saying that we don't have situations of abuse that deserve attention. I'm talking about when we don't have the skills and training to discern, let them calm down, and let's see if we can put them in family counseling before we rip them all apart, before we take the children from them. Let's just say the mother had a bad day and she's coming home and she lost her job, or this happened or that happened, and she comes home and she shouts at her children. Because she had a bad day, does that mean her children should be taken from her and placed into the father's house when he's got an abusive girlfriend, that the mother is not comfortable with her children, but because the mother raised? These are the types of things that people's families are being destroyed for.
Tonight in the death of an 8-year-old Gwinnett County girl allegedly beaten to death with a wooden rolling pin. Police have charged the girl's father and stepmother with murder.
But the Fox 5 I-team has learned the state's Child Protection Agency found some of the blame lies within its own ranks. I-team reporter Johnny Edwards obtained the case file and discovered the agency received a complaint about this family months before the killing. Johnny?
That's right, and the case files show apparently not enough was done. The records we received from the Division of Family and Children's Services have been heavily redacted, with dozens of pages entirely blacked out. But what we did learn, DFACS fired 2 of its workers, a case manager and her supervisor, as a result of Syra Barros' death.
You have 4 felony charges.
A Gwinnett County couple charged with killing their own child. Arrest warrants accuse 34-year-old Natiela Barros of beating her stepdaughter to death with a wooden rolling pin. striking her 10 to 20 times. The girl's father, 37-year-old Cladir Barros, accused of knowing his daughter was being abused, but leaving her alone with his wife anyway.
And again, I'm not talking about situations where there's true abuse. I'm talking about things that can happen to anybody. Do you understand? There's no median. Everything is 5,000. Everything is extreme. Everything is, who can we take today? And people are so quick to take these children away from their parents and remove their parental rights.
CTV's W5.
Basically, that was the beginning of a nightmare.
When a wrong diagnosis tears lives apart.
They can legally apprehend your child. That's shocking to me.
Hundreds of people have gone to jail on what I consider junk science.
If the doctor says it, then it must be true.
And
it's kind of the legal system now keeping me silent.
Locking the truth away behind a piece of paper.
It destroys you. It's like killing somebody. I haven't spoken to a single person who really understood what they were signing.
This is about a system that protects power, that allows power to buy justice.
Like, someone's parental rights can be snatched from them in like 6 months' time or less, simply because they've been incarcerated. Now, that may not seem real to someone that has not been in a situation of incarceration, but suppose that did happen to you, and you come home and say your mother had your children or a family member had your children, and then a social worker been assigned to the case to tell you and your family what to do with your child, and then tell you that you can't resume your parental rights from a child that they had nothing to do with. And sometimes people are getting found guilty of indiscretions within their household by social workers that don't even understand the culture that they're supposed to be, working with. That's a very real situation. I know in Hawaii there are certain cultural activities that say a social worker from the mainland may not understand. There are families that live there. They have a home, they just don't have a house, and that's how they live. A social worker from the mainland will come and declare this an unfit home when that's their culture. That's their tribal culture. You understand? There are different ways of living, and the ideology of what is family and what is not, and what is right structure and what is not, should not be held in the hands of agencies that fabricate lies and make up their own ideas, or read a manual of someone else's ideas of what the perfect or ideal family is. And if they did have it right, then tell me why this is happening. Tell me why an entire attorney staff at an agency quit. And what's taken the investigation so long? Saints, I pray for each and every one of you. There are other examples of this type of public vindication that we can go through. It's going to continue to happen, and it's going to be a thing. And I pray that our president, as he resumes his rightful place, after him having gone through all of this and seen how easy it is for these agencies to frame innocent people, or just people they want to target for whatever reason, whether it be just I don't like this person, or whether it be political, whether it be whatever religious purposes, whatever it is, I pray our president really sets up a task force to go after this type of situation that's happening in every state across America. I saw this in a vision, and God himself has gotten involved. God bless you, be encouraged, and I love you. Aloha.